welcome back to the MMA Split. I'm Josh.
I'm Matt.
And we are going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night. Oh, what number is it? Vegas.
Let's say Vegas
ESPN.
43.
Yes, Vegas 43. Off the top of his head, no less. I had to look it up. Catelyn Vieira.
When I edited our podcast last week, I couldn't remember which number it was for Holloway versus Rodriguez, so I just put UFC Vegas. Didn't number it for the first time. We got away with it.
Very forgivable. I don't think Dave looks for that, to be honest.
That's okay. He's pretty forgiving. Although Trifo's getting upset that we don't do Twitch streams anymore, so I might try and do a Twitch stream if my voice... disclaimer for everyone watching, my tonsils are fucked. Josh is... going to be the new me, and he's also going to be mostly the same Josh. I'm just going to sort of have a Sly-like presence on this podcast, but I'll probably end up. I forgot to bring it. I wasn't in character when I was purchasing food. I'm still going to talk probably more than I should. Still going to smoke because it's what idiots do. But I'm smoking weed, and it makes the pain feel better. So it's kind of like a sort of trade. But yeah, back to you, Josh. You're doing a bang-up job.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
First off, we're going to touch up on the news because last week there was a couple of things we sort of failed to report upon. Most pressing of all, I suppose, is that Masvidal has had to pull out of the fight with Edwards, which is crushing.
Massive oversight on us not remembering to talk about that because we spoke about it a lot when it happened. We just forgot to mention it on the podcast. The following week.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, it's hard to keep track sometimes of what we said on the record and what we didn't, or even what we've just WhatsApped to each other. I just kind of remember it all in the same sort of format as the old episodes we've already cut. Anyway, our bad. Masvidal, is obviously pulling out for a real reason. I don't know what the injury is yet. I haven't had it confirmed, but it's just
something
something
he's ever pulled out of a scheduled fight.
I mean, shit, it's the right thing to do because Leon Edwards, I'm not saying that Masvidal has to be at his very best to beat Leon Edwards, but Leon Edwards is a dangerous guy, and you'd be foolish not to go in with the best advantage. But I understand it was going to stop him from being able to train. So just I think, did they ask to move the fight back? I'm not really sure.
So then, him and his manager Malky have done an interview with Ariel, and basically from what I understand, he all but said exactly what you just said, which is, I'm not saying that I have to be at my best to beat Leon Edwards. I'm saying that I've just lost 2 title shots back to back, and I'm looking for a fight for relevancy, and I'm not going to be anything less than 100%. He wanted the fight to happen in February, March, apparently. Leon Edwards doesn't want any of that because I think I kind of get it. If the fight gets pushed back, he's only going to be sort of a month or 2 away from maybe when Usman is looking to defend the belt. Then obviously you've got to recover from that fight. Maybe you miss out on that next shot and you're just constantly on the sidelines again. So I get that there's a timing element. You know what I mean? He wanted this to be here a month after the champ fought. Their schedules kind of match up a little bit. Have you heard the conspiracy theories?
No, but what are these from the Edwards side?
So
I imagine it'd be pretty crazy.
That the UFC asked Masvidal to pull out of this fight so that they have a better opportunity of promoting him versus Colby Covington, which risked being a less interesting fight if Masvidal was to lose to Edwards. It's on the basis of the fact that he pulled out 3 days after Colby Covington said, the UFC, what's they even doing? Our fight's going to be less interesting when Leon Edwards beats him. They should just scrap that fight altogether and put on one of the biggest fights of the year between me and him instead. And then 3 days later, he pulls out.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the fact that is a bit of a reach, it also doesn't really make sense because the UFC's big pay-per-view draws, it doesn't really matter if they lose. McGregor loses, doesn't matter. Nate Diaz loses, doesn't matter. Masvidal's pretty much at that stage, you know, minted as a superstar. I don't think it's like a huge problem if he was to lose against a guy like Edwards. I do think that the Colby Covington fight is something I really want to see. So I would love for the conspiracy to be true, just so they'd be booking that. But I mean, shit. Edwards definitely thinks he's just going to be able to sit, bide his time. He's going to get the next title shot. I don't think that's going to play out. But of course, we had a lot of sites this weekend, or this week, sorry, falsely reporting the Usman Edwards 2 had been booked for March. Of course, Errol Helwani's come out and said, I did not fucking say this at all. You cite me as your source. This isn't what I said. So I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. I mean, Helwani doesn't toe the company line. He wouldn't keep a secret for him. If that fight was happening, he'd love to be the one breaking it.
Not just that. I do have a different theory on this, though, which is that I think Usman should be begging for that fight. Fucking begging for it. You got 5 defenses right now. The guy that everyone's looking at down the road, really, as potential, oh fuck, how do you deal with this guy, is if Chimaev's for real. And he might really be for real. And I'm not saying that he's going to beat Usman. I'm just saying that if I was Usman, a couple of title defenses extra before you have that challenge, you know, just to kind of set that legacy just in case. Trying to chase down GSP, that's the only side I'd think. You know, I think the same thing for Poirier. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, if you win this belt, beg that you get to fight Justin Gaethje.
I want to fight all of them.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
Sorry, man. Yeah, I cut out a little bit there. Shit, I can't remember why I was saying, but what were you saying about Poirier and Gaethje?
I was just saying, if Poirier was to win the belt against Oliveira in a few weeks' time, beg for that Justin Gaethje fight, because it's an opportunity to get a nice title defense, establish a bit of a legacy in yourself before the Makhachev problem comes up.
Yeah, well, I mean, Makhachev seems to be kind of looking for the Gaethje fight, to be honest. I don't know if it's going to happen. They said Gaethje said he should go fight Benny Dariush instead, but shit, I don't know if Makhachev can be denied at this point.
Makhachev, Dariush, neither sells. They both need a fight to earn it. Fuck me, Gaethje went to war, man, against Michael Chandler. If that doesn't earn you a title shot, then what fucking sport are we watching?
Yeah. But the problem is between Charlie Olives and Poirier going at it, and Gaethje being ready for the next fight. You know, Makhachev could win a fight and steal his thunder, or win a fight and demand a title eliminator, or Makhachev might just sit his ass and wait for Gaethje. I really don't know, but I feel like whatever Makhachev kind of decides is going to be the thing that moves this decision along for the UFC, rather than what Gaethje wants.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Gaethje's fighting 3 weeks before Poirier and Oliveira. So their schedules line up, assuming that I don't think whoever wins that fight gets out of there unscathed. You know what I mean? Whoever wins that fight, they're going to need a few months to get back. This is going to be a fucking burner. No one's talking about it. I don't know why no one's talking about this fight. It's our most anticipated fight of the year. We're the only people that seem to fucking care. So I just think that if you look at when both of those guys would be ready, you know, you've got Gaethje and Poirier that could be ready at some point, sort of late spring, early summer, to book that fight. And then you've got Dariush who needs a fight, and you've got Makhachev who could be fighting in 2 months' time on a January card and a February card. So that's where I feel the sitting out doesn't make sense and the calling out Gaethje doesn't make sense. He's not going to be ready until the next title shot slot would be open. And you've got another guy who's ranked right there, who's above you, set up for the perfect title eliminator. I mean, he rapes Dariush.
Yeah, I think he probably does. The thing is, I'd be really interested to see how he matches up with Gaethje, because Yeah, that would really, for me, like, it would tell me how for real Makhachev definitely is. Because Gaethje, we've learned, not only is the guy you don't want to be very close to, but he's actually a really hard guy to take down as well. So,
if you get him down though, the
fucking
jiu-jitsu is nowhere near the level though, man. Gaethje got tapped out way too fucking quick. Way too fucking quick. And I get it, because if you think you're never going to be there, what's the point in even worrying about that problem? Your mindset is, well, if I'm down there, I'm fucked, so I'm never going to be down there. But that's my worry with the Makhachev fight for Gaethje. It's that it might be hard to get down. He only needs to get him down once, and I think the submission's locked in faster than it was against Hooker.
Possibly. Oh shit! So Dan Hooker came out and said he didn't mean to verbally tap on that one. It's like, we all know, Dan. We all know that was involuntary. Like, Jesus Christ. Just I love the character though. Just love the way he like the way he sees the world and approaches things. Just love it.
No one. I don't think anyone has any fucking lost credit for what happened in the Makhachev fight. Makhachev is going to do that to a lot of good guys, and he's not the guy that you fight on 4 weeks. You just don't. You need 3 months of, this is my guy. I'm studying everything. I'm with my coaches next to me day in, day out. Game planning, my best sparring partners, the best people coming in to wrestle. And he didn't have that. But, you know, Dariush has got the submission threat, but not off his back. Not in the way that he'd need to deal with what Makhachev's going to deal with.
Yeah, it's unlikely he's going to be able to get Makhachev into a position where he'd be able to one bar him or anything. And, well, really, there's nothing, like you say, he's not really going to be able to do much from his back. From the top, I don't think he'd be able to submit a guy like Islam anyway, but yeah, it's definitely would have to be part of his game plan, getting some top control in there. I think his best chance is to just keep finding ways to get the fight back to the feet and look for that knockout. But we're talking about theoretical fights here, which we don't need to, because we've got some real fights coming up. We can make some picks on.
About them now.
Just rounding out a news section. Yeah. Sorry.
Go for it. Go for it.
So, do we leave anything off the news section after all that?
There's only one thing I want to suggest with the Dariush versus Makhachev fight. You could literally promote that fight as who's God is real.
Yeah.
It's just like both of these guys say that it's the power of the Lord that gives them their strength. The same God, but different rule sets. Winner is the right God. Just checking it out there. I mean, Jesus Christ.
What is Benny's religion?
He's an evangelist.
I didn't know that.
Pretty sure he's an evangelist. I'll look it up. I know he's Iranian, but I thought he was like a newly born Christian.
No idea. Oh, actually, Kevin Lee has settled over this whole Adderall thing. He's going to get 6 months suspension and a $16,000 fine.
That's actually pretty reasonable. It's a hard one because the thing is, it's such a performance enhancer, but at the same time, it's something that's taken so understandably.
I really don't know how much of a performance enhancer it actually is in a top level professional sport that's quite a grinding, enduring feat. You know, I don't think the edge it's going to give you offsets effectively the overall amount of energy you're sacrificing. You know, and apart from Gregor Gillespie, Kevin Lee isn't exactly like a first round like knockout guy. You know, he's very good at staying in there with people, finishing late, always being a threat, good grappling game, good wrestling, good takedowns. So I don't know. I don't view it as like performance enhancing, just it's illicit. So you're fucked.
Since he's been taking it, his record is like 1 win and something like 4 losses. He says he's been using it since like 2017 or something. So I don't think it's working if he is using it for performance enhancing reasons.
Yeah.
Only other thing in the news, man, have you seen all this? Khabib just starting to tweet a lot as well, going after a lot of these lightweights.
I've only seen him tweeting about Gaethje. on
Tweeting
behalf of
about
his
Gaethje.
fighters, or just getting?
Just Tony and Gaethje and all the rest. Which doesn't make a lot of sense because Gaethje and him were pretty chilled and pretty respectful. So I don't know where this is coming from. But Gaethje makes some good points.
What else did he say apart from the fact that? Sorry, I got a bit of a lag. Go ahead.
What did he say? He said Gaethje doesn't deserve a title shot over Makhachev because he's lost 3 of his last 8 fights, all by finishes. And in his one title shot for the real belt, he fell asleep. And Gaethje's response is that
I saw.
Gaethje's response was basically, he was quite clever. He said, I don't think this is Khabib tweeting this. I think he's got people that are running this, that are saying this stuff, because this doesn't sound like him. But if this is Khabib, I lost to my last 3 defeats were the former interim champ, the former current champ, and a previous former champ. So it's not like I'm losing to bums, basically. And you've just shout all over Tony saying he only has 1 win in the top against a top 15 fighter in the last 6 years, but your boy's only got 1 win against a top 10 fighter. So why does he deserve a shot, but Tony doesn't?
Yeah, so I saw that, but I just kind of saw that even if I think it is Khabib, but you know, he's just advocating for his boy. He's just trying to get his boy a shot. That's it.
Yeah, true.
And I think it's smart, and I think it will be effective, you know?
Well, to be fair, that's what all of AKA have been doing for a while now. Josh Thompson, DC, they're all fucking propping up Makhachev as far as they can go, and it's well deserved. That's why I was saying, Poirier, get that fucking belt now. Appreciate it, because I don't know how long you're going to have it for, buddy. These Dagestanis are scary. Just when we thought Khabib was gone, there's a new Khabib. And then there's a Chechen Khabib in a different weight class. It's just like, and then there's a Georgian Khabib at bantamweight where you're like, Jesus Christ, there's just so many of them. This horrible fight style. They're so hard to beat. Yeah, that's about it from the news. Should we talk about this deceptively good card?
Yeah, man. So, topping up the cards, my girl's back. Cupcake Tate on the redemption trail.
Former champ.
Looking for that elusive
former Strikeforce champ.
Yep. Former ONE FC executive. Former Brian Caraway significant other. That one was probably the toughest. Against Ketlen Vieira, who
big go.
I hate picking against Cupcake, man. Yeah. Ketlen's pretty fucking legit, you know. This is not, you know, obviously Tate's serious about coming back, so he's got to fight whoever. But I don't know if Tate's got the skills necessary to take out Ketlen, and I'm not super excited for the fight as a result. Kind of, I just feel like I'm going to end up being disappointed in this one, Matt.
I feel like you're putting Ketlen Vieira on a plateau that she does not belong on.
I'm not. I'm just not willing to do that for Tate. I think, you know, Vieira looked very fallible against Aldana, against Kunitskaya. I think that Miesha Tate in her prime would be able to handle a fighter like this. But this is a Miesha Tate who came back and fought, you know, at the time, well, probably was or is the oldest female on the roster in Marion Renault.
Marion Renault is no fucking joke,
you know,
though,
she
man.
didn't look great. She's no joke, but she's old as fuck. Really old. And quite limited in her movement, her athleticism these days. Whereas Ketlen Vieira, not so much. A lot more sprightly. And, you know, this is a guy that's taken out Ashley Evans-Smith, Sarah McMahon, Kat Zingano. Sajara Eubanks is no bum either. Oh, Miesha Tate has to fight these kind of people. I just, you know, we'll see. I hope I'm really, really, really wrong. but I'm probably not.
I have a really different viewpoint on this, which makes this interesting because I'm not very impressed with Ketlen Vieira. I think she's got a very limited tool set. And I think she's a good example of a grappler that makes up for a lack of technique by just kind of willing and forcing and just using enough raw power and determination and will to kind of force the takedown and force the positional changes and position advances. She's not somebody that I've seen really show, particularly in the Kunitskaya fight, there was no finishing instinct on the ground. She was just trying to control. And she lost that fight because basically she didn't do anything on the ground. And Kunitskaya was able to have moments where she was able to land effective shots whilst being held on the ground. And that won her the fight. Yeah. I just think that this is going to be a situation. I might be wrong, but Miesha Tate, I know she's older than she was, but she looks like she's in phenomenal fucking condition. You know, she didn't look rusty against Marion Renault. She's had a fight back. I think technically she's just so much better at wrestling. And she has a much better understanding of how to use technique to advance control positions, get the takedown, set things up. And I just think it's going to be technique over power. And the fact that Ketlen Vieira doesn't have an area, it's not like she's a pristine striker where she can kind of like use a brute force to keep things standing and pick her apart on the feet where it's not Tate's strong suit. She's good where Tate's good. Her instinct is going to be to take it to the ground. And I think even if she is to take Tate down, I don't think Tate's going to be kept down. I think she has the ability to understand how to reverse position. And I think it's just going to be welcome to my world. I've done this for my whole life at a much higher level than you, with far greater success in wrestling, far greater success in mixed martial arts than anything that you've accomplished. Welcome to my world.
I don't know what you mean, but at the same time, like everything you say about Vieira, you know, I'd say they very much mirror each other. It's just that Tate hasn't got the same kind of power or strength. And at this point, neither is she going to be able to match her for speed and athleticism. You know, Tate's comeback fight was basically in slow motion.
Oh, that's
It'll be interesting to see. I know what you mean. She is in good shape, but you know, it's kind of like, you know, watching your team play preseason against lower league. You know, it's easy to look good or easy to kind of look a little better, overperform more than maybe you're really showing your true value. I mean, this is it. This is going to be a good test. If she gets back, you know, past Vieira handedly, then, you know, fuck it. I'm happy to be wrong. But I think she's going to get caught on the feet a few times. And although I think, you know, she is the better grappler, the power and the size, she's just going to end up on bottom for too much of the fight.
I feel we've talked about this before, but women's MMA's biggest issue is that aside from strawweight, you do not have a huge amount of depth. It's growing at flyweight, but it's bantamweight, which was once a really stacked division, is not really what it once was. And the fact that in reality, if you ask me who I think the best fighters at bantamweight outside the champs still are, I'm going to say Holly Holm and Jermaine Durandamy. And they are 40 years old and 38 or 39 years old, maybe 37 respectively. I just feel like a fight like Miesha Tate is in this group. They're just above everybody else. And, you know, Holly Holm, when you look at what Aldana did to Vieira, and then when she came up against a fighter of Holly Holm's level, just dismantled. Not even a fight. Wasn't even able to make it interesting because Holly was just that much better than her. Just shut everything down without any difficulty. And then you look at what Aldana just did to Yana Kunitskaya, and I know I'm playing MMA maths a little bit here, but you know, Kunitskaya is not a great grappler, but she was able to do enough to, even being out grappled, make those her rounds. That's not a positive sign for Vieira. So, yes, it's a test. Yes, I know that you're looking at things in the perspective of you're not looking at Tate, the Tate that won the belt. How would she do? You're trying to look at the Tate that did it now. But I think you're just being a bit harsh on saying that it was in slow motion against Renault.
Sorry, are you suggesting the Tate now is significantly better than the Tate before she retired?
No, I'm saying that the Tate now is a different fighter. And listen, she stayed in fantastic shape. She's getting better trainers. She doesn't have to deal with Brian Caraway in her personal life. She seems to be in a much healthier place mentally approaching this. I'm not saying she's not a little bit slower. I'm not saying she hasn't quite got that, twitch reaction that you have when you're a younger person, just organically. But I think she could have made up for it in more strength, better conditioning, and experience. And she's always had a high fight IQ.
I feel I have to remind, before she retired, though, it was kind of established that she wasn't at that level. Even when she won the belt, she was getting her ass whooped before she got that rear naked choke in. And I think you obviously losing to Nunes takes a lot out of you, and that probably showed a little bit in the following fight. But yeah, I just feel like her peak was kind of Strikeforce. She did really well in the UFC, obviously, but it was just her night when she got the title shot. Oh, not right now, right? It's your naughty little dog.
You want to know something?
And then,
sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. You go finish your point, and then I'll say something.
I was going to say, it was just kind of that fairy tale ending. And then, she had a couple fights after that, not go away. And then retires, comes back. I feel, nowhere near the same. No, I would say, distinctively, far. There's a gap. There's a gap between where she was and where I saw her in the Marion Renault fight. She still looked good. I was surprised. I was happy to see her be that good, but it was only because I thought she was going to be so much worse. Same as when Nick Diaz came back against Lawler. People are like, I didn't look great, and I'm like, looked so much better than I thought he was going to look, if I'm honest. So I want to get behind Tate on this second go, but yeah, I just don't believe it.
I'll just interject on the point I wanted to say, which is, everyone has this narrative with her fight against Holly Holm that I bought into as well, that she got her ass kicked for 4.5 rounds and then pulled off a fucking Hail Mary miracle sub. She won the third round of that fight, 10-8. She dominated Holly Holm. In any situation, she was able to get her to the ground. Dominated. It only happened twice in the fight, but in one of those rounds, she dominated her to get a 10-8 judges result on the scorecards for 2 of the 3 judges. And the second time she was able to get her down, she had her choked out in 40 seconds. So I'm not saying that he was at the level in terms of striking, but as a pure grappler, outside of Ronda Rousey in that division, she is right up there with the best. And she did what Rousey couldn't do. Maybe what Rousey didn't try to do against Holly Holm, but she still did it. And okay, yeah, she loses to Amanda Nunes. I think mentally she kind of lost a lot of focus and motivation after that. And maybe that's where you and I differ, where I look at those kind of last couple of fights before the first retirement and think that I attribute more of that to the mental sort of exhaustion and kind of lack of motivation. Whereas I think you look at it as the signs of it being time to hang up the gloves. As a result, I think I put more credence into this comeback because I don't think that there was that physical drop-off in the same way that I think maybe you're looking at things. There's also the side where she's just more interesting to have in the division, man. So this division was getting stale really, really quickly, and it still is a little stale, particularly with Aspen Ladd not being able to actually fight at bantamweight and make the weight. But I want to follow this sport in a situation where on Monday morning, Tate can, not saying win, but still be a player, still be there for interesting fights. And I think if she loses to Ketlen Vieira, it is not a statement of how good Vieira is. It is a statement that you're right and the level's dropped off. And it makes me think there aren't a lot of interesting fights there for her. So with both my heart and my head, I'm going Tate, and I'm going to go with a submission finish somewhere around the 4th round. Caitlin doesn't know those deep waters. She don't know what a 4th round looks like.
Fair enough. Sorry, it's cutting out really badly at the moment, so I'm trying to play
It's
it
happened a
off
couple of
record here
times
and
with you.
there.
It's a little annoying, but we'll live. We'll live. We soldier on.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Vieira decision.
Bold move. Understandable move. Let's talk about our co-main event.
I'm way more excited for this fight. I don't know it's necessarily going to be a lights out all action war, but I really need to answer the question: who's a better grappler, Michael Chiesa or Sean Brady? And shit, it's fucking here. You got Spokane's own Chiesa, the Maverick, showed to be a great strangle artist at 155. Inevitably had to move up to 170, and the boy filled out. Has had a bit of a mixed bag, but overall looking pretty good at 170. Sean Brady, Philly's own, undefeated, best back tattoo in the game, probably. Certainly up there. I think Volkov's taking the piss with his, so I'm going to put Brady above him now.
Volkov's is a fucking work of art.
Well, he's like done it over again. It's like an even bigger thing now, right?
Wait till he gets the front tattoo that connects.
I just didn't understand why he did the cover up. I don't know. There's a cool story behind it, maybe, but I don't know. But anyway, Brady's beaten Court McGee, Jake Matthews, Christian Aguilera is not bad. Gilbert Urbina back in the LFA days. My point is, he's had some pretty good wins, but not like huge fucking names. Definitely deserves to be a ranked fighter, but it's hard to know exactly where he fits in. Luckily, we're not going to have to wonder much past Saturday. This should give us a really good fucking idea of just how good Sean Brady is. And it's a hard one to pick, Matt. What are you thinking?
This one. There's 3 fights on this main card, Josh, where I'm going to say exactly the same thing before I do my pick, which is that I'm going to talk about one fighter I like, and I'm going to say, you got a lot of balls for taking that fight. I wouldn't want to take that fight in your position, and I'm not 100% sure it's going to work out for you. Yes, I looked really good against Luque until he didn't. And it's kind of a bit of a worry because it reminded me a lot of the Masvidal fight, where he looked really good until he didn't. And then when he didn't look good and it went wrong really, really, really quickly in the area that he's meant to be best at. I don't know how much submission threat he's got to worry about technically from Brady, but Brady brings some pace and energy and fire, and he's got the wrestling to potentially negate it. The only thing that's making me think Chiesa's got a real shot here is he's just so fucking big, man. I mean, the height and reach he's got on Brady, you know, not just in terms of keeping him at distance, but when he's on the ground, you know, it's going to be, even if Brady's on top, there's so much leg and arm to wrap something up, pull something off. I'm going to go Brady.
It's close, right?
I don't know.
I'm taking Chiesa.
It might not be close. That's the thing. I've realized that I do this, and I think MMA fans do this, where when you first get into the sport, you're really embracing of the new guy that came in at the same time that you kind of came in because you feel like you're on this journey. Once you've watched for a few years, you develop these like emotional connections to memories that you have watching certain fighters. And when you then get the next new guys coming up, you don't really always want them to be the guys beating the people that you already like. And I feel this has happened with Chimaev. I feel it's happened with a couple of other fighters recently, maybe Makhachev as well. And I don't want to keep making that mistake. I really like Michael Chiesa, but there's ways to beat him. And at undefeated, you don't know if he can lose. It could be really unclose though. That's the thing. It's like Michael Chiesa could completely dominate him. Brady could go through him. Any possibility is that. I'm going to say Brady by decision.
Yeah, man. I think Brady's going to have a lot of success taking Chiesa down and holding him down. But I feel like Chiesa really only kind of loses if he gets submitted. and I don't think Brady's going to be able to submit him. I do think Chiesa has enough tricks and certainly way more experience, particularly at the top level, than Brady. And for me, that's just going to give him the edge. I'm going to say Chiesa by decision.
Strong pick. I think we're going to be matched on this one. Rani Yahya. How can you not like this guy? Just
he's a legend.
Purist. 37 years old at bantamweight, he's still getting it done. And Kang Kyung Ho, I'm so sorry, buddy. I don't know anything about you. I can't remember you. I'm sure I've seen you fight. You haven't fought in a couple of years.
He's had a... I was trying to think when he came in. So he made his debut against Alex Caceres back in 2013, but he was fighting semi-frequently. He had a 4-year or a three and a bit year gap between Tanaka and the Canetti fight. But since coming back, he has been pretty busy. He's only got the one loss against Ricardo Ramos since coming back.
Ricardo Ramos is good.
Yeah, although the wins were against Ishihara, Brandon Davis isn't bad, Ping Wan Lu. He's not fighting the biggest names. He's usually buried on the prelims. He doesn't tend to stick in people's eyes in memories too much. You know, it's last 2 wins by split decisions. Rani Yahya is going to be in for a stiff test. I'm going to say that much.
Looking at Kang's record, just to interject, I think his 4-year layoff is, I'm guessing he probably had to do military service.
That would have been some of it. I think military service is only like 2 or 2.5 years for South Koreans.
It is.
So I don't know like where the rest of the time went.
Also, you might not be training as frequently as well, though. It might have taken him like a year or so just to get the fucking tools back, you know?
Maybe. Although what I understand is if you're a professional athlete, when you do your military service, it's not that unlikely, or it's not that uncommon that you'll get the kind of position where you can train quite a lot. Some of them even get shorter services, and it would be like, 6 months in the office, so they can just do all their training like outside of that anyway. But yeah, I don't know exactly what happened for Kang, but yeah, you're right. There's almost definitely the national service taking up a chunk of that. But yeah, since coming back, he hasn't looked too bad. Rani Yahya though is a submission machine. I think I've already written down all my picks. I am going to go decision. Being concerned.
I'm going to go sub for Rani Yahya.
We agree this is Yahya's fight to lose, though.
Yeah. Big Yahya fan. Such a great name as well.
Yeah. Great way to agree too.
True. Okay. Right. Bring us down. Talk about Jojo, Tyler Santos.
So following on from that. Yeah. Joanne Wood dropped the colder, tied the knot. Tyler Santos. Man, I love Jojo. I love British fighters. I love European fighters. I love British fighters. But I really love Jojo. Always been a huge fan. I'm going to be a traitor, though. I'm going to go the other way. I'm picking Santos. I just think she's probably a little bit bigger, a lot faster. She looks stronger. And I think she's probably going to be a lot more successful in the stand-up than Jojo. And that's really Jojo's only kind of threat in the fight. So I just don't think it's going to be a fun night for Jojo. What are your thoughts?
Jojo, you've got a lot of balls for taking this fight. You didn't have to. There are other fights there. I don't know how well it's going to work out for you because Tyler Santos, I've talked about her and a couple of others in this division as the examples of the flyweights who aren't just women that found it hard to cut down to strawweight. They are athletes at flyweight. They are cutting just down to make flyweight, not making it comfortable for themselves. And Jojo, obviously, great Muay Thai career, a good striker, but she doesn't throw in combination. She only ever throws in combination when she's in a tight clinch. She's very hittable. She can be taken down. She can be controlled. And I don't think she's going to be quick enough on her feet to get in and out and kind of do what she needs to with Tyler Santos. This is going to be a rough night. I think Santos is going to win by decision. I mean, she didn't finish Gillian Robertson. She didn't finish, Molly McCann. But it could be one of those nights. Just you're pressed up in an awkward position against the cage, being beaten up for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna fucking suck for JoJo. I'm going Santos by decision as well.
If she wins this fight, then give her a title shot, because that's not an easy fight, and she's been screwed a couple of times. I did not think that she lost to Lauren Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, we know what's going to happen if she gets it, but you know,
it's just the tick. It's the tick, Josh. It's the tick on your record. Title shot was given. Title challenger. You know what I mean?
Take it off the bucket list.
It's like the old expression with Rocky, man. Not everybody wins.
Real life assassin got punched in the face.
She's got that movie coming out. Valentina Shevchenko, the Halle Berry movie's coming out next week. The MMA one. Valentina Shevchenko's in it.
Yeah. I actually read through the premise. It actually seemed kind of cool. You see the picture of Shevchenko with Pat Barry and Nama Yunus?
No.
Where they're just holding guns, pulling faces.
No, but I know that Valentina and Rose are big fans of each other. Rose often says that Valentina's her favorite fighter.
That's fair enough. I think that's true of a lot of people. But this picture, man, I mean, it's Shevchenko, so I'm like, these could be loaded guns. Pat Barry has totally got his pointed at Rose. Like, Rose is like up and away. Barry's like, nah, just danger.
As I've learned from Alec Baldwin, it is no matter what gun you think you're holding, it's not a good idea to point it at people. You've frozen.
Yeah.
But you're back. There we go.
No, I hadn't frozen. I didn't want to put a tagline on the end of that. If that clip goes viral, I just want people to just judge me on my reaction alone, and you for saying it.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're both Brit traitors, both betraying the island.
Santos Spice.
Next up, Adrian Yanez against Davey Grant.
Did you go decision?
Yeah,
or...
you going decision?
Yeah, decision.
Yeah. The exact same. I haven't done the catchphrase. I'll have to wait for the next one. Might be this one.
Okay, so I love Davey Grant. He's got a lot of balls for taking this fight. Don't know how well it's going to work out for him, because Lil Masvidal is a G, and that boxing is nasty. Nasty. What he did to Ricky Costa, the fact that he had enough self-awareness to not come away from that thinking like, yeah, I'm amazing, I knocked him out. He came away going, I was completely outclassed for a round until I established what I wanted to do, and that needs to change immediately. His attitude is fucking phenomenal. His technique, his willingness to get into the fire, his knockout power at this weight class, he's the next thing, man. He's the next fucking top level bantamweight that's coming up in this division. And love Davey Grant. And Davey Grant can knock people out. He's proven that. But as we saw with the Chito Vera fight, there's also a level. And I don't think he's quite at that level. And I think the injuries and his age and all of these factors have prohibited from really being able to improve when he was in his prime to kind of get beyond that marker. I mean, I don't know what the age difference is, but it's got to be well over 10 years, maybe even 12 or 13. And I think a lot of that, oh no, only 8 years, but still it's 27 against 35. And I think that age difference is going to show, the speed factor is going to show. Yanez is winning this by, he knocks everyone out. I'm going to say knockout. Gotta.
I mean, Davey's not getting any younger, but he's also never been finished by strikes, so I'm going Yanez by decision, betraying our boy. I'm really sorry, Davey. I mean, like you said,
Sorry,
Matt,
Davey.
it's really held him back, the inactivity and the injuries. A guy with so much potential. I think we've never seen his prime. I think he got taken away from him. If Davey's going to win this, it's definitely going to be by knockout, and it's going to be against the grain of flow, but against the grain. I'm trying to mix flow of play and grain though. Been a long day today, Matt. I'm not gonna lie.
I get you.
Anyway, I'm going to move on because I don't want to betray him any more than I have to.
Good move.
So,
Let's smash through these prelims a bit quickly. We've got Tucker Lutz taking on Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini, I feel, is going to win. So I'm going to say decision win for Pat Sabatini.
Yeah, this one's a bit of a mismatch, I feel. I am also going Sabatini, and for my first decision of the day, I'm going finish of the day. I'm going sub. Nice. Sabatini sub.
Rafi Garcia taking on Natan Levy. Go.
Garcia trains with Cub Swanson. Seems to have great attitudes. Has looked good in his losses. Seems to have heavy hands. And Levy, I missed him on the Contender Series. Undefeated prospect coming through. But fuck it, I'm taking Garcia. And I was in two minds about it earlier, but I wrote down decision. I will stick with that because this is written. Garcia decision.
We might as well carpool, Josh, because we're going in the same direction.
Sometimes I like it when Sly's in here. So I get shit on my great fucking catchphrase.
He will be back eventually. Nice. He's had another big weekend ahead of him, so it's priorities. He won't be watching this UFC.
I really know he's not coming back until we get another good card, or not a good card, but a card that looked on paper before it happened. Lots of big names.
Pretty much.
He's a bit of a star fucker.
Pretty much. Take us away, Josh.
All right. Man, a girl after my own heart, Lupi Godinez, coming back for the fourth time this year. I think this is going to set the record for the fastest turnaround for 4 fights in the UFC. Back down at strawweight this time, but taking on the ever-dangerous Loma Lookboonmee, who has just a ridiculous array of sort of trips and hip throws and things. Still, Lupi's won me over. I'm in. I'm taking Lupi, man. Lupi by decision.
I've always thought that her name was Lookboonmee with 2 N's and then an E. Her name is literally Lookboonmee. Are you kidding me? That's too good. That's like, have you ever seen that practical joke that the guys played when that Malaysian plane crashed and they phoned up and said that they'd given the names of the staff who had died and the pilot to the news station, and the names were like, we too low. Plan go down. And then the best one, the pilot, as they said, and the news station is reading this out, they said, holy fuck. And they didn't realize it. They thought that was the real names. I digress.
Sometimes you can forgive cultural insensitivity when it's funny.
I digress, but it just I can never take her seriously again. Her name is Lookboonmee. It doesn't matter because I think Lupita's going to win this. She's got that old thing, man. She's got moxie. She tried to be the quickest ever turnaround for 2 wins, 7 days. She was going to beat Chimaev. She came up short, wrong weight class. It happens. I think she's going to be way more prepared for this and be able to do what she does. I'm going to say by decision.
When was the? Yeah. I was trying to remember when the Penne fight was. It is going to be 4 fights for this year. I wonder if that is going to the record April to November. I think maybe Cerrone or Kevin Holland smashed that, but yeah, man. All right. Moving on quickly because I know the lag's getting bad now.
Yeah.
Terence T-Rex McKinney against Veraciem. Man, this is quite a good fight. And this is a good fight on paper. I'm kind of excited about this one. McKinney, dude can bang. Who's he scout recently? Matt Frivola was the big one for me. Shit. Steamroller Frivola, I picked him to win. He let me down, but god damn, McKinney looked pretty fucking good. In fact, he's had, if you go back counting his LFA fights, he's had four first round finishes in a row on a 4-fight win streak. Veraciem. I didn't know this. Nickname Smile Killer. I guess I've forgotten that because it's awful. We definitely need to tap him up for some business for Name and Fortune.
Name and Fortune needs to make a return, man.
Yeah. He had the win against Malarkey. I think that might have been Malarkey's debut. And then went on to beat Luigi Vendramini, who, I also think is a good fighter. Only the one loss against Don Madge. Yeah, is what it is. For me, shit, man, I gotta go with T-Rec. I'm gonna go McKinney. And I think I want another finish on this one. Yeah, McKinney knockout.
I'm not going to use the carpool lane again, but I agree with you. And McKinney's definitely got one of the most uplifting as well as quite funny stories. It's funny because he lived and all's good, but his story of basically being arrested whilst tripping the fuck out on LSD and almost dying and all this kind of stuff and being on the news. And then coming back and getting his shit together and putting the runnies on. You want to root for this guy, man. And he looks like a beast. I'm going on both talent and the story and the fact that I'm rooting for him. McKinney by knockout.
That's the same way. Oh, you've changed it to knockout since saying you weren't going to go exactly the same.
No, I said I'm not going to use the carpool line again, but I'm still doing the same thing as you. I just wasn't going to say the carpool line again. I don't want to overuse the catchphrase.
Sorry, I thought you said car lane. So I thought you were using the metaphor in reverse. It's another car joke.
I wasn't that advanced. I wasn't that advanced.
Yeah, man. McKinney KOs all round. All right, next up, Cody Darden, a name so American it sounds fake, against Keelan Aori. I know I didn't get that right, but I feel like I got it close. Got close with that one. Man, I wish I was more excited for this fight. Aori lost his debut to Molina. You remember that one a lot better than I do. Good fight. I need to go back and rewatch that one before Saturday, I think. Darden had the draw with Chris Gutierrez, and he got absolutely marked by Jimmy Flick. There's some potential here, perhaps. But I need to see these boys win. I'm going to go with Darden by decision.
I'm going to go Keelan by knockout. Keelan by knockout. Strong pick.
Nice. All right, and then back up to featherweight. We've got Josh scrolling too far ahead on Tapology. It is the featherweight one next. Yes.
Yeah.
Sean Soriano against, I need to have it written in front of me, even then it's still not easy. Shaylan, Dan Vieque.
Oh, wow. You added a whole bunch of extra names to what I've got. I've just got Shah Yalan.
That would have made more sense. Could have been safe. It should have just said Wolverine.
Wolverine would have been way cooler.
Dan Vieque. I'm getting a taste for it now. Dan Vieque. Probably saying all of that wrong too as well. Dan Vieque is making his second UFC fight after losing to Culibao. Soriano. How many fights has he had now? Dun. Oh, also just the one. Yeah, the Padilla fight got cancelled. All right. Same as before. Really need to kind of see someone win here. I'm going to go with Soriano, but I'm really just arbitrarily picking. I haven't really seen enough of either guy.
Exactly the same for me, except I'm just using that logic to pick Shah Yalan.
Dan Vieque. All right, so
Shah Yalan's fine with me. We're on good terms. We're on good terms. We're informal. We're casual now, you know.
Wolverine. Anyway, opening up the cards. last pick of the night, Luana Pinero against Sam Hughes. Do you think this one's even close? I think Pinero's gonna absolutely run through her.
My
I
method
think
of
she's gonna beat her
victory
up on the
is
feet.
my method of victory is rhymes with grape.
Yeah, she's gonna tape her. So, man, I think she's better than her on the feet, better than her on the ground. You know, Pinero hasn't looked great in either of her losses, and Hughes hasn't looked great in either of her losses. And Pinero, I don't think has ever been to decision. I think she's finished every professional fight she's ever had. I think
She
she's going to
makes girls
absolutely
beat
whip her on the
herself.
feet.
She makes girls beat themselves. Ronda Marcos, she set her up for that disqualification beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fucking stupid one. But yeah, Pinero's going to submit her. She's going to whip her, take it down, sub her out. Good night.
I'm going to stick with my original method, which is Luana by grape. And I'm more than willing to take that as if it's just a knockout, then I don't get the decision correct on that one and you get it. Like anything less than full on grape, I will be incorrect on this. But I'm pretty sure we're in for a grape.
I don't think we're going to get down to methods this week. We've got a lot of difference. Separation.
A lot of difference.
All right, Matt. Good. Well, with that, the only thing left to do is watch the thing. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
There may be a Twitch stream. Trifo, I don't know if you're still watching us, but it may come back. I'm not 100% sure, but tune in if there is one. And thanks for watching. Sorry about the lag. We're going to try and get it fixed, particularly because next week's episode is... Guess what next week's episode is, Josh?
Is it our anniversary?
1 year down, man. 1 year down as of next week. Episode 52. Nice. I thought about celebrating episode 50, and then I was like, we got the year one coming two shows later.
How's it 52? We do like 2 a week, most of it.
I don't count the pick shows as numbers.
Okay.
They're their own thing, but it's our 1 year show, our 52nd show. We've made it round the whole fucking globe. We started in a cold pandemic. We finished in a non-pandemic, but who knows what the future holds. But we've seen some great cards in that time. So tune in. We'll see if there's lots to talk about in this show. There'll probably just be a lot of reminiscing and talking bullshit and appreciating the 1 year as well. But till then, guys, bye Dave, bye Laurie, bye Trifo. Enjoy the fights.
Bye Laurie, bye Dave. Peace.
Peace out, buddy. Have a good night.
Man. Catch you there.
Catch you later.
Bye.